pumpkin whispered my name the night before Halloween. I swear to God, it said Eli. I grew up in Maple Hollow, Ohio, one of those small American towns where everyone knows each other's dogs, and the biggest excitement of the year is the Fall Festival. By mid-October, every front porch had pumpkins, fake cobwebs, and those plastic skeletons you can buy from Walmart. It was cozy, too cozy sometimes. But that year, something was off. It started with the pumpkin. My mom had dragged me to Henderson's pumpkin patch out on Route 6. It was a tradition. Every year since I was a kid, the place was always packed. Kids screaming, parents snapping pictures, the smell of kettle corn and hay rides filling the cold October air. But this time the patch felt emptier. The owner, Old Man Henderson, wasn't there. A young guy ran it instead. Tall, pale, quiet. His name tag just said Sam. Mom was picking through the pumpkins, humming along to some country song playing from a tinny speaker. I wandered to the back of the field where the pumpkins looked. Strange. They weren't round and bright like the others. These were darker, almost a reddish brown, and their shapes were uneven, like something had been pushing from inside. That's when I heard it, a faint whisper, almost like the rustle of dry corn. Eli, I froze. No one was nearby. The wind had died completely. Then again, soft and breathy. Eli. I turned toward one of the pumpkins, the biggest one in the row. It had this long, twisted stem that looked almost like a hand. The sound had come from inside it. I backed away, heart hammering. But something made me look closer. Its surface wasn't smooth. It had faint lines, like carvings half-formed beneath the skin. I swear I saw letters there. An E, then an L, and something that looked like an I. Mom, I called, but when I looked back, the letters were gone. That night I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard that whisper. Sometimes it sounded like wind through dry leaves, sometimes like someone breathing right beside my bed. At around 2 a.m., I got up and looked out the window. Our jack-o'-lanterns sat on the porch, flickering softly. But there was a fourth one now, one we hadn't carved. A huge pumpkin sat at the bottom of the steps, darker than the others. The same color, the same shape, the same twisted stem. I went outside barefoot, my breath fogging in the cold air. The pumpkin glistened under the porch light, as if it were wet. I leaned closer, and that's when I saw it, carved faintly across its surface. Eli, my name. I stumbled back, heart racing. "Dad!" I shouted. "Mom!" The porch light flickered. When my parents came out, the pumpkin was just gone. The next day was October 31st, Halloween. The entire neighborhood went all out. Inflatable ghosts, motion sensor screams, smoke machines. But that year, everyone seemed quieter. A few houses didn't decorate at all. One of my neighbors, Mrs. Callahan, told my mom she'd heard weird noises coming from her pumpkin patch, too. Whispers, she said. She thought maybe vandals were hiding speakers in the pumpkins as a prank. I tried to laugh it off, but every time I saw a pumpkin, in the yard, at school, in the store, I swore I could feel it watching me. When night came, I decided to go trick-or-treating with my friend Mason. He lived a few blocks down near the edge of the woods. We used to cut through there as kids, even though our parents told us not to. Halfway through the night, Mason dared me to go with him back to Henderson's pumpkin patch. "Come on, man," he said, swinging his plastic candy bucket. "I heard they left all the pumpkins out this year. Let's go grab one for the party." I didn't want to, but I didn't want to chicken out either. Then Mason stopped. "And dude, look at that one." It was sitting alone in the center of the field, massive. Its surface looked stretched, almost translucent. And beneath it, something was moving. I whispered, "Let's go." But Mason was already walking toward it. "What the hell's inside?" He reached out, and that's when the pumpkin moved. It pulsed, like a heartbeat. Then came the whisper. "Eli." Mason froze. "What the who said that?" I backed away. We need to leave, but the pumpkin split down the middle with a wet, tearing sound. The inside wasn't orange. It was red. Something crawled out, a pale skeletal arm slick with pulp and seeds. Then a head. Not human. The face looked carved, like a jack-o'-lantern made of flesh, with hollow eyes that burned faintly from within. Mason screamed and ran. I couldn't move. The thing turned toward me, tilting its head. Then, in that same whispering voice, "You were chosen, Eli." I don't remember how I got home. My parents said they found me on the porch at dawn, clothes soaked, eyes wide open. Mason never came back. The police searched the patch for days. They found only his shoe and pieces of pumpkin scattered like a trail of breadcrumbs. I tried to tell them what happened, but nobody believed me. Henderson's pumpkin patch was shut down a week later. They said it was contaminated soil, some kind of fungal infection that made the pumpkins mutate. But I know what I saw. That was 2 years ago. Every Halloween since, a pumpkin appears on my porch. Always the same color, always the same size, and every time it whispers my name. Last night I tried to ignore it. I turned on the TV, cranked the volume, shut the curtains. But around midnight I heard tapping at the window, soft, rhythmic. When I looked outside, the pumpkin was gone, but there was something else in its place. Muddy footprints leading up to my door, and carved into the wood, right beside the handle, were 3 words: "Let me in." They say if you go out to Maple Hollow this time of year, you can still see the glow of pumpkins flickering deep in the fields. People think it's teenagers playing pranks. But if you listen closely, really listen, you might hear a whisper carried on the wind, a name. And if it's yours, don't answer.